Good morning. I've been a house sitter for 8 years now. I wanted to share with you 8 ways that house sitting has transformed my life and the life of a whole bunch of women inside of this community. At least 3 months out of the year, at least 3 months out of the year for 8 years, I have house sat around the world and gotten free accommodation and a chance to see the world without having a boatload of cash. And now is a good time to talk about house sitting because last minute summer house sits are in abundance. And people who want the Thanksgiving house sitters are already starting to get ready for the Thanksgiving house sitting season. So let's talk house sitting today. But first, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Stephanie Perry. Like I just told you, I'm a house sitter. I'm also the creator of House Sitter School and the co creator of Exodus Summit. And I help Black women take a sabbatical or career break, move abroad, bop around the world as a nomad, all while embracing ease. If these things sound good to you, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, please. I'll wait. Thank you. And then turn on notifications, ring the notification bell so that you'll be notified when I post a new video or go live with my friends. Hello, friends. Good morning, Dominique. Good morning, UVA Aviator. Good morning, Ray and Millie and FM Stinson. Hello, Kat from Rebloom Room. Good morning, Ahazuda and Alicia and Charlesetta. Good morning, the Classy Hacker and SLS Forever and Ra and Rennie. Hello, Double T. Bon dia. Good morning, 40 something fire, and Aisha Nicole, and I create my path, and Sana, and Courtney, and all things women. Good morning, high vibe, Rhonda. In case you can't tell, friends, here we say good morning. Okay, you say good morning here, even if you're not going to do anything else in the chat. Hop in the chat, say good morning. Thank you. If you're watching the replay, hello, friends in the future. I hope it's amazing there. You can say hello in the comments. Say hi. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you kindly. I'm not house sitting right now. I'm in Costa Rica. I have house sat in Costa Rica before, but I'm not house sitting right now. I'm in an Airbnb. But you know what? Surprise, I did house sit this week. I did a house sit Wednesday night, Thursday. I did a 1 day house sit, 24 hours almost exactly. I did a 24-hour house sit for my friend Kat, who had to go away for the night to do some paperwork stuff in Costa Rica, and was didn't want her dog to be alone. So I took good care of Lyra, and house sat for her. I've house sat for Lyra before. When I got there, she barked and barked at me like we didn't know each other. I'm like, girl, you know me. She barked and barked at me. By the time I was leaving, within 24 hours, she was like sleeping on my foot. When I sat at the dining room table to work, she laid under the table and slept on my foot. She's the dog who, that one time when I was live, she drank out of my water. I had a cup of water on the floor for myself, and she went over and drank it. And it upset me so much because I was thirsty. I needed that water. That's who I house sat for this week, but I'm not house sitting now. I'm just visiting, right? I'm just not visiting. I'm in Costa Rica settling down. And so I'm in a house, I'm in an Airbnb. But I do want to talk about house sitting. And I'm going to tell you right now what the 8 things are, the 8 ways. House sitting has meant that I don't have to have a traditional job, number one. House sitting has meant that I get to see the world, number two. House sitting has given me money to do luxury travel, number three. House sitting has given me a platform, a place to talk my talk. Number five, house sitting has given me community. Number six, house sitting has helped me take a break from the USA. Number seven, house sitting has introduced me to little small pleasures that add up in life. Being a person who lives in people's homes, right, seeing the way other people do things has introduced me to some small things that I've instituted in my own life because I'm like, wow, I really like this. I found this thing in this house that I really like it. I do that now. And then finally, number eight, trusted house sitters, trust house sitting has emphasized like the reason for this channel. It's emphasized the reason that so many women need to slow down or like pause their lives completely. Um, so those are 8 ways that house sitting has transformed my life. So let's talk about those things. Dominique, did she smell you enough to be barking that much? I'm like, you know who this is. You know who I am. I house sat for her for at least a full week, if not longer, right? And it wasn't that long ago. It was not all that long ago. I'm like, you know me, you just acting like that. Don't be acting like that. She's trying to guilt her mom into not leaving. Right? I don't know this lady. This lady's a stranger. Bark, bark, bark. I'm like, girl, please calm down, calm down. Yeah, house sitting, just seeing how other people do things has been really a nice way for me to be like, oh, I do that now too. Me too. So let's talk about it. Anyone here house sitting right now? Anybody house sitting right now? I'm looking through the comments right now, through the chat. All right. Valerina, my friend sent me an article showing some house sitters being blocked from coming into the U.S. to house sit because they're considered working on a tourist visa. How did you? Don't tell them you're house sitting. You're a tourist. You're a tourist. You're coming in on a tourist visa. If you house sitters don't get paid, and so they're not work. If they're coming for paid house sits, you're not supposed to earn money on a tourist visa. That's in almost any country. You're not going there to work. You're going there on a tourist visa. So you're not nobody needs to you don't need to be telling people that you're coming to house sit. You're coming as a tourist, right? If they ask you where you're staying, you give them the address, right? But they don't need to know that you're house sitting. But if you're not getting any money in exchange, then you're not breaking the rules of the tourist visa, right? If you're not getting paid to work in that country, then you're not getting paid to work in that country and you're not getting a tourist visa. That's why Trusted House Sitters does not allow you to be paid, right? They're very clear on that. Yeah, yeah. There's no reason to explain to the border agent that you're coming into house sit, because then you got to explain, but I'm not getting paid. It's not work. I am still a tourist, right? Instead, just the answer is I'm here on a tourist visa for vacation. I'm here to travel. I'm here as a tourist. House sits are unpaid for that exact reason. For that exact reason. All right, so let's go ahead and get into number one. So, house sitting means I have no traditional job. House sitting is free accommodation, and I get free accommodation for as long as I need it during the year, right? Like, so most years lately, over the last 3 or 4 years, most of the time, or 4 or 5 years, I've house sat mostly just in the summer, right? I've blocked off June, July, August, May, June, July, August, and I've house sat during that time specifically. I may pick up one or two house sits in the middle, but for the last few years, I've house sat for 3 blocks of time, 3 month blocks of time, even though it's several house sits back to back. But at one point, I house sat for a full 11 months straight. Out of 1 year, I house sat for 11 months straight. I think that block started in Mexico and then went to San Francisco. I went to London and Amsterdam. And I think that's the same time that I came back to Austin. I think all of that is 11, 111. No, Amsterdam. I went back home after Amsterdam, right? All of that was an 11-month voyage, an 11-month house sitting journey. That means that I didn't pay for my own place to stay for 11 months, except for like a day or two here and there in between house sits, right? Almost no time in between because I didn't have any money. That was 18, I didn't have any money, right? So I couldn't pay for a place to stay. I had to house sit. And that's why I was able to build my YouTube channel, build this business, build the Exodus Summit business with Rashida, because I didn't have to have a traditional job. I didn't have to work those 40 hours. I was freed up to do the things that I wanted to do, right? Do future things because I didn't have to do work, because I didn't have to pay for a place to stay. When you only need to feed yourself, when all you have to do is make sure you have food, you got your cell phone turned on. I did keep travel insurance, travel medical insurance. When those are the only expenses and traveling, paying to get to the place, booking your flight, booking your trip, your bus trip, right? In Mexico, it's mostly about buses from place to place, right? If that's all you have to do, easy. For 6 months, I house sat in Mexico on less than $3,000. I spent less than $3,000 in Mexico house sitting for 6 months, right? And so that means I ain't got no job. It meant that I didn't have to have a traditional job. It meant that I could spend time sabbaticaling, right? Spend time doing sabbatical things. And also, I could spend some time growing the next thing, growing the YouTube channel, the business, all of that. My YouTube channel didn't start until 2019. So that 1 year house sitting thing was, I think, 2017 into 2018, or maybe 2018 into 2019. It's hard to, I think it was 2018 and I finished in 2019. I think that's what it was. Um, but that's what that meant. That meant that and then I started my YouTube channel June of 2019. But it meant that at that point I was, oh, that's right. At that point I was a virtual assistant, girl. I got to try to remember the past. At that point I was a virtual assistant, and it meant that I could work on that virtual assistant business and not have to have a job. So I recommend it. I recommend house sitting. I guess I should start from the beginning. What is house sitting? House sitting is staying in people's homes while they're away and taking care of their responsibilities while they're away. Generally, that means taking care of their home and their plants and their pets. Most house sits are pet sits, not all, but most, 99% most house sits are pet sits. And it's been a fantastic way for me to see the world. You can house sit by yourself. You can house sit with a friend. You can house sit with a family. You can house sit with other pets. You can bring your pets to house sits. It all depends on what you and the client agree on. I house sit through a platform called Trusted House Sitters. I have the some information about Trusted House Sitters in my new house sitter toolkit, which I will get a link for you here. It's already in the description. So if you're watching from the future, it's already in there. Okay. My new house sitter toolkit, I have some information on Trusted House Sitters in my new house sitter toolkit. And I have my actual Trusted House Sitters affiliate link if you want to go ahead and join Trusted House Sitters. Okay. So house sitting, that's what house sitting is. You're just expected to live in that house for that amount of time. Leave it the way you found it and take good care of the pet. If there's a pet there, you're expected to take good care of the pet, right? Not just deal with the pet, but actually like the pet. So if you're taking pet sits, you should like animals, right? If you're doing a cat sit, you should like cats. If you're doing a dog sit, you should like dogs. If you're doing a chickens in the backyard, I don't know if you really need to like the chickens though, because they don't care. Chickens don't care about you. You at least need to be able to gather eggs from a chicken coop. Shanna, hi, Shauna. Do you think people would allow children? I know people allow children because I know people who house sit with their children. I interviewed Diamond on this channel not too long ago. She's house sitting with her granddaughter, I think right now, who is 6, 7, 8. Hi, Diamond. I think Diamond's granddaughter might be an 8-year-old. Um, Tanaj and Tino house sat with their teenage son. Um, I need to have a better recall of this, but yes, okay, it depends on what you and the client agree to. House sitting clients are human people. They're human people. You say, hello, my kids are this age, and they're good with cats or dogs, and the people say yes or say no. Some people don't want kids in their house no matter what. Some people love kids and are like, fine. Some people have kids and like, why not, right? My dog likes kids. Come on, come be our house sitter. It's all you, a person, talking to the client, a person, and y'all agreeing on how it's going to go down, right? You have agency, they have agency, y'all discuss things. That's it. Zane says, I'm not the dog whisperer. What do I do? If you can care for dogs, you can still house sit, or you can just pick up house sits that are um, cats or whatever animal you like, right? You can house sit just taking care of horses in the back in people's horse pastures, right? If it's not dogs, if it's cats, then it's cats, right? If it's fish, then it's fish. Most people who have fish do have another pet. I haven't seen too many house sits that are only fish. Not that I haven't seen any, but you don't see too many. If they have fish, they have other things, but not always. I don't know, not always. Pick the house sits that you like. Are they mostly little dogs? They're mostly any size dogs. You pick the house. What I'm saying is you have agency. You pick the house sits. They're not saying, here's a house sit. You have to go do this house sit. It's not that. Okay. It's look at this profile. It's just like staying in, not just like staying in an Airbnb, but on Airbnb, you see some places that you like and you see some places that you don't like. Or hotels. There's some hotels you like to stay in, some hotels you don't like to stay in. You pick, right? If you don't like big dogs, you don't do house sits with big dogs. I have very specific houses that I apply for. I'm not telling you this so that you'll choose this way. I'm telling you sometimes my thought process. I prefer two dogs over one dog because one dog is going to be on me all the time. I want some space, right? I need to work. I want to sleep in. Generally, if they have two dogs, the two dogs can occupy themselves, or a dog and a cat. If they get along, the dog and the cat can occupy themselves. If there's one dog, the dog might be a little more clingy than I like, right? You decide every single house sit you look at, and you decide if you would do it or not. You can go ahead and look at Trusted House Sitters right now. Click on this link if you don't mind, and look at Trusted House Sitters right now and see if you don't see some house sits that you're like, oh, I could do that. That's a little dog, this little dog, and it's cute, or it's a cat, or whatever. You decide that nobody is telling you you have to do anything with in-house sitting. Nobody is telling you you have to take this house sit with three German shepherds, right? You see a house sit with three German shepherds and you're not into German shepherds, and you don't do a house sit. You don't apply for that house sit. You apply, you choose. If you see a house sit, yeah, a Velcro dog, sometimes I'm in the mood for it and sometimes I'm not. Like this week, I hosted the YouTube Success Challenge. It would have been really annoying to have a dog like whining and on me all the time. Lyra don't care about me, okay? It was just a one-day house sit anyway, but she don't care about me. The only time she acted up was when the pool cleaners came. Let me tell you, Cat, you know how on movies and TV, they always joke about women having affairs with the pool cleaners, the pool man, and but in real life, the pool man is not handsome. The pool man is probably 77 years old, right? I've this was the very first house sit where I was like, oh, if I wasn't working, I would go out and have some words with the pool man. Two pool men working together, muy guapo. They were the most handsome, probably two of the most handsome men I've even seen in Costa Rica. Like seriously, seriously. Let me get back on track. But the dog, no problem, right? Hey, Rajni's Glamazini. We never forget Tico. Tico, the cat, was all over me. Like if Tico was here right now, he would be on my face, on my shoulder, on my hair, right? Knocking stuff over, stealing stuff, running around. I never got one of my lipsticks back. One of the lipsticks he stole, I never got back, right? I prefer mellow and chill older animals to hyper younger animals. Somebody like you, somebody might not want to do older animals because you're afraid they might die. I've house sat for a 19-year-old dog and I think an 18-year-old cat, right? They were both on their last days, but they both made it, right? You decide. Nothing about house sitting is somebody telling you what to do. You get agency. So maybe that's a ninth thing that house sitting has done for me. It's given me a life where I am in charge of things. Being an employee, being a worker, I know this all goes into number one. Being an employee, being a worker, in some ways robs us of full agency, full autonomy, right? And that's the nature of jobs, the nature of employment. Um, I'm not saying that, like, even being a business owner, some stuff I have to do, like, taxes, right? There's some stuff you have to do. But being a house sitter has helped me exercise autonomy, agency over my life. Girl, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Do you need any more house sitters on Thursdays? Girl, wait a minute. Both of them. I'm telling you, I've never, ever, ever. You know how y'all remember Desperate Housewives? I've never seen a handsome pool cleaner. The pool man who comes, I've never been like, look at that, look at that. Y'all see that? This is the first time ever. I've done lots of house sitting in lots of houses with lots of pools. and stayed in quite a few Airbnbs with pools where the pool man came while I was there. First time I've ever seen a handsome pool cleaner. I don't know where the pool boy, maybe in California, maybe there are places where there are cute pool boys. These men were handsome men. I was like, Kat, did you know? She said, yeah. She said there's, well, she said there's three. Two of them are very handsome. They rotate, right? Y'all remember Tico? Girl. Two hands full. I was going to say he was a handful. Okay, so I asked who's house sitting. Haiku, 65th, 68th five-star sit in 3 years. Full-time nomadic. Congratulations. I don't think I knew that. I don't think I knew you were full-time nomadic. I don't think so. Maybe I forgot. Mm-hmm. Congratulations. Okay, so if we're talking 68 house sits in 3 years, 3 years is times 52. We're going to go with, no, let's go by days. 365 days times 3 divided by 68. Okay, so we're talking 16 sits per, no, I don't know how, never mind. That number is 16, but that number means the average amount of time per sit and time in between is 16 days. That's not a helpful number. No. Okay, disregard all the math. Disregard. It's too early to be pulling out my calculator. Yeah, but that's what house sitting has done. A first thing that house sitting has done for me is it has helped me not have a traditional job because I have not had to pay for accommodation since frankly, since 2015. Since I left in 2015, I have not had to pay for accommodation. I am paying for this Airbnb, but that was my choice, right? I'm not house sitting. That's by choice because I want to be here and in this neighborhood in particular. So it's by choice. There are houses in Costa Rica, but most of them tend to be at the beaches, and I don't want to live at the beach. I want to live here in San Jose or in the San Jose area. So that's number one thing house sitting has done for me. Number two, house sitting has helped me see the world and be nomadic since 2017. I've been nomadic since 2015, but I didn't start house sitting until 2017. So house sitting has helped me see the world, right? And more importantly, see places I like over and over again or for long stretches of time, I guess. House sitting has helped me stay in places for long periods of time. Places that if I get there and I like it, I can stay, right? In the out around Guadalajara, Mexico, I really like it. Lake Chapala and I I I Ajijic. Okay, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Lake Chapala and Ajijic, that area, I like it. I don't like it to live. I wouldn't like to live there, I don't think, but I like visiting there. San Miguel de Allende, in another state in Mexico, I really like it there, and I've gotten to spend blocks of time there, chunks of time there, not just vacation periods, not just 5 days. My vacations used to be 5 day blocks. Now I get to stay places for weeks and weeks because of house sitting. I've been to the Netherlands. I've been to Amsterdam during tulip season, right? Because of house sitting. Um, and so it's helped me to see the world. That's been awesome. Carmen's metamorphosis. I'm thinking about starting out in the US first, staying in Houston to visit my daughter. Yes, can you have company during a house sit in case she wants to come by? These are house sitting clients are people. They're people, right? You say, I'm house sitting, my daughter lives close by. Is it okay if she comes in? And they say yes or no. Never ever have people over without their yes, right? Never ever sneak people in. Everybody's got ring cam. They know who's coming in the door, right? Never ever sneak people over, but they're humans. They're people. You say, I'm house sitting for you and my daughter lives nearby. Can she come? They say yes or no, right? It's they're just regular people, right? They're regular people. Teresa, the sabbatical life. Teresa said that German Shepherd puppy drug her all around Scotland. Yeah. I found out that I'm a big dog person because big dogs they sleep even more than little dogs, tend to be a little less little dog energy, right? But, big dogs have big poop. House sitters pick up poop. Pet sitters pick up poop. Big dogs have big poop. If you can't deal with that, that's a thing. Good morning, mom. That's my mom. Good morning, mom. Yeah. So, um, I'm looking for questions. I don't know what I was saying. The poop thing was not what we were talking about, though. Oh, the dog. Yeah, like you decide after a few house sits, you really will know. If you don't know yet what your preference would be, you'll know. Try it and see. You'll see what your preference would be. I think the question, though, the comment that I was starting on was, I'm going to start locally, and then house sit some other places. That's a good idea. It's less pressure. If you do your first house sit in a place that you feel already comfortable, in a city you already feel comfortable in, there's a little less pressure on you, right? So, sure, do that. Or in a place where you have family or friends, you're feeling a little less pressure. When you're new at some stuff, you feel nervous and, like afraid. And if you're in a place where you feel comfortable, that fear is a little bit less. So I think that's a great idea. Plus, it's easier for people to approve a new house sitter, right? If you're a new house sitter and you don't have any reviews yet, you have recommendations from people who say you're reliable and trustworthy, but you don't have any actual reviews on the Trusted House Sitter site. It's easier for people to book you because if they know you're going to be in town, either because you already live there, right? And you're local, or because you're coming for something specific or to see someone or, visit a daughter, go to whatever. It's easier to get a yes in those cases, right? If I'm if my house is in Costa Rica and somebody is applying for the house sit, she lives in Chicago, right? And she's never gotten any reviews before. I'm up until she gets rings my doorbell, I'm going to be really nervous about whether or not she's going to make it, right? Whereas if I'm in Chicago and she lives in Chicago, I feel fine about this. I feel fine, right? So you're alleviating some pressure from them and from yourself when you do a local house sit first when you don't have reviews. That does not mean you have to sit locally first. If your first house sit is in Chiang Mai, Thailand, your first house sit is in Chiang Mai, Thailand, okay? I'm not saying that has to be that way. I'm just saying it's a pressure reliever. Yeah, so I've gotten to see the world. I went to Amsterdam. That first of all, their house was in right outside of Amsterdam in Amstelveen. First of all, it was just a beautiful house. It was just beautiful, beautifully decorated. I'm in a beautiful Airbnb right now. I'm looking around like it's a beautiful house, a lot like this. And then the cat was just this really fluffy white cat, just super you know, luxury cat. Are there luxury cats? I don't know. But he was a luxury cat. Also a little independent cat who didn't really care about me, right? He didn't wasn't all over me. He didn't care what I was there to do. And it was just in a beautiful place at a beautiful time. I didn't know until that house sit that there were flower farms. I guess I thought all flowers grew in greenhouses. But just like in Delaware, you drive and drive, and it's cornfields and cornfields and cornfields. People who come to Delaware are usually, for some reason, really surprised about the number of cornfields, right? Cornfields, cornfields. Once you get halfway through Newcastle County, there's only 3 counties in Delaware. Once you get halfway through the first county, it's just cornfields, okay? People are surprised by that sometimes. Um, in the Netherlands, there are flower fields. There's tulip fields. There's hyacinth fields, right? There's flower fields, flowers and flowers and I didn't know that. Monique came and picked me up. Monique, who is an Unstoppable Journey on Instagram, came. She lives in the Netherlands, and she came and picked me up. And we put on my little dress, and we went and took pictures in the flower fields. Right? I'm like, flower farms, flower farms. A thing that I still wouldn't know, right? A thing that I still wouldn't really grasp. Even if you told me that they grew on farms and not only in greenhouses, I don't know if I would grasp what it looks like to see a flower farm, right? A tulip farm. Yeah, house sitting has helped me to see the world, and I really appreciate that about house sitting. I have not only done house sits in places that I wanted to go, but in house sits in places that I didn't had never thought about going. right? Like Lake Chapala, Mexico. I never thought about it. I saw the house that popped up. I did a quick Google search. What does that place look like? How do you get there? What's the closest airport? And then what does it look like? And I'm like, oh, this place is cute. Ajijic is cute. I would have never gone there. Now I have friends there, right? So that's a thing that house sitting has done. It's helped me see the world, and that has changed my life, transformed my life. I'd already seen the world. I'd already gone on my 12-month sabbatical to travel, and I traveled Southeast Asia and Australia, a little bit of Europe during those 12 months. House sitting helped me see Mexico, which I turns out I love, and helped me see some other places that I had not prioritized seeing, right? It just has given me the opportunity to be like, oh, there's house sit in Palm Springs? Sure, I'll go to Palm Springs, right? When I wasn't planning, I think the house sit came first. House sit came before me going to Palm Springs. Oh, there's a house sit in Naples, Florida. Okay, I'll go there. I hadn't thought about it, right? House sitting has helped me see places that I didn't even know were interesting to me, right? So that's number two. Number one, no traditional job. Number two, see the world. Helped me be nomadic on a dime. House sitting helped me be a nomad on a budget. We still get people on this channel in comments and stuff who are like, yeah, yeah, when I talk about traveling, yeah, yeah, that's nice for you, but not everybody has money like that. Girl, I was on a budget, okay? In that house in Amsterdam, I made shrimp fried rice. No, I did not. That's a lie. I made fried rice because they had all the ingredients in in their pantry. They had rice. I think I bought bacon because I'm not doing it without bacon. I bought bacon, but ate rice. They had a whole big old tub of cashews, rice and cashews and onion and soy sauce and all the things I needed except for the bacon because I only had the money to buy the bacon and then get myself back home, right? I did not have the money to go out and eat in the Netherlands. I don't know if I ate in one restaurant when I was in the Netherlands. I think the house sit for was 7, 10, 14 days. They were flying to New Jersey and I was flying and I was, anyway, we were crisscrossing each other. I did not have the money, right? But I'm in the Netherlands. Right? I did fly. No, I didn't. I took the bus from Paris. I took what's that bus called? We have it here. That's the cheap bus. I took the bus, and when we stopped in Belgium, the bus from Belgium to wherever never showed up, and there were people, and it wasn't a bus depot. It's just a bus that picked you up in a parking lot, and there are people in the parking lot like, oh my gosh, that's how cheap the bus was. Probably 5 or 15 euros to get from Paris to Amsterdam, right? I had a little bit of change, and I ate that pork fried rice for days and days and oatmeal. They had oatmeal. They had children, they had teenagers. So they had a pantry full of things and they said, you're welcome to it. And I took that to heart. I ate oatmeal for breakfast, coffee. They had a good coffee maker. Um, Oatmeal and coffee, ate the fruit, because people are always like, we knew we were going to leave. We still have all these fruits and vegetables. Eat that, right? Ate their fruit, ate the pork fried rice, ate their fruit roll-ups for dessert, right? There were days when I did not have it, and house sitting was the reason that I didn't feel any pressure, right? Now, I can always go to my mom and dad's house. I'm not talking like it was extreme. What I'm saying is, I felt no pressure in being a house sitter without that money because I knew I could eat, right? Either I can eat, feed myself, right? Make the money through my um, VA business, virtual assistant business to feed myself. And right, I also have some staples here in this pantry. Everybody got tortillas in their pantry going bad, right? So it's not, if you want to see the world, money is really not the reason to not do it. I have house sat. I have done volunteer work exchanges for free accommodation when I could not afford to be in a place any other way, right? There's no way I could have afforded to go to Australia in 2016. It's an expensive place, right? You can't even get a coffee for under $5. You can't get a beer. Happy hour, they don't discount the price of drinks at happy hour. They put up a sign talking about happy hour, but the drinks are the same price. Australia is an expensive place. I would not have been able to afford Australia, except that I did two work exchanges, work exchange in Perth and a work exchange in the Gold Coast. Hmm. So that I could be there and enjoy that place. If you want to see the world, I recommend house sitting to you. If you're on a budget and all you can afford to do is stay in one place and house sit there, stay in one place and house sit there. Pick a place where house sits are in abundance and stay there and house sit, right? Parts of Australia, house sits are in abundance. UK, house sits are in abundance. Parts of Canada, Vancouver and Toronto areas, two different parts of Canada, house sits are in abundance. New York City, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Chicago, Florida, in Orlando and South Florida, Central Florida and South Florida, California, Northern and Southern, house sits are in abundance. So even if you need to park yourself, even if you can't afford to get from place to place, right? Even when I didn't have a whole lot of money, I had the money to get from place to place, right? But even if you don't have the money to get from place to place, house sits are in abundance in one place. Park yourself there and house sit and get your free accommodation right there, right? That's what I would do. April said most cats think they're luxury cats. His name was Archimedes, I think, or something like that. And they called him Archie. I had two Archies back to back. I think his name was Archimedes. I mean, that cat, I'm like, man, you should be in commercials. That was a beautiful cat. He was so unbothered by me, unbothered by the people in the house. He did not care. I don't think they even bothered to say goodbye when they left. You know, like some people get real emotional about leaving their pets. I don't think they had that kind of relationship. I think if they did, then they said their goodbyes before I got there. But that cat was like, I rule the world. Okay, you're welcome to be in these places at these times. Okay, and keep my meals on time. I took so many pictures of that cat because he was really, 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 really beautiful. Yeah, I think he was a luxury cat. They might all be like Tico was not a luxury cat though. Tico was not. Tico was a WWE cat. Robin, Odita, is anyone willing to pair up an experienced house sitter with a new house sitter? I know where you can do that. Okay? Diamond's community is called Sisters Who Sit on Facebook. Sisters Who Sit. If you're watching the replay, I'll go back and find that link and put it here. But you can go to Facebook and type it in. You can do it. Sisters Who Sit. And they do that. Diamond, I interviewed Diamond not too long ago. If you want to come back, go back and maybe I'll find that video as well. If you want to come back and watch her interview, she created a community for Black women house sitters. And one of the things they do is pair up on house sits. Okay? Okay? So even if you're like, I'm not exactly sure about this, they got you. Okay? All right. It would be great for a new house sitter to learn the ropes. Absolutely. So I recommend it to you. Zane Good. I looked at the Trusted House Sitters website, found some place local to me that has lowered the mental block I had. Okay, yeah, that's why I'd be like, look at it. Look at it. Look, go use my link. Use my link if you don't mind, because Trusted House Sitters, I have an affiliate relationship with them. Trusted House Sitters gives me an affiliate commission. Doesn't cost you anything more to join using my link, but I get a commission. That is your way of thanking me. Okay. Yeah, that's why I be like, use my link. Go look over there. See what's on there. You don't it things all things are scarier in your head than they are in the real world. Right? That's always, always, always. Things are scary in your head. Look in the real world. Look at it. And you'll be like, oh. I could do this. Now, Trusted House Sitters puts you there's you can see so much of the listing. Copy. Let me put my link back in here. Paste. Okay. You can see part of the listing, but you can't apply for house sits and all of that until you join, right? So you could sign. You sign up with just your email address. You can look around. I copied everything first, but then you go to when you go to apply for a house sit, you have to actually join. You register. It costs money. There's an annual membership fee for Trusted House Sitters. What you're getting for that money is you're getting access to all those house sits, right? You're getting access to apply for those house sits, and you're getting a little insurance protection. You're getting some protection. If you accidentally burn down their kitchen, Trusted House Sitters has you covered. This is what I want to copy. Copy, paste. Okay. All right. Thank you. There's my affiliate link, Janefa. Hey, hey. Okay. Get in there. Haiku, they give you the use of their cars and send a grocery list and force cash on me. I've been given the use of the car or golf cart in in more houses than you would expect, right? Sometimes I've had to be like, no, I'm not using your car, right? I'm not driving in the UK on your car on the opposite side of the road, even though I happen to be a good opposite side of the road driver. I'd be like, that's just, I don't need it, right? Their grocery store is literally a 2-minute walk. In the UK, things are set up differently than in the US. I'm not using the car. But yeah, I've had more than you would expect. Oh, I think I saw that. Jennifer says they let you pay monthly now. I think I saw that announcement. Yeah, right? Um, more times than you would believe they let you use the car. Now, not most, probably not even half. By more than you believe, I'm going to say like 25% of the time. Because most of my houses are in Mexico. Out of the country, I mean, out of the US, I think people are a little looser about stuff like that. Yeah. And a lot of house sitters, a lot of clients who have been house sitters themselves seem to be a little more looser about stuff. Yeah, and I've had them give me money, right? I've had them give me money. It's not a paid house sit, okay? But I've had them give me a little cash or more than a little cash, right? Yeah, I'd be like, no, thank you. I'm not pressing my luck here, right? Listen, the grocery store is here and I have Instacart and Uber Eats. I don't need your car, but thank you. Thank you for that, right? Yeah, these are people. House sitting clients are actual people. Imagine somebody coming to stay in your home, right? You want to make sure you're a hospitable person. And if they said, you know what? My son, who I just talked to somebody, my son is graduating from basic training in a few days, and I'm coming to house sit so that I can be at his graduation. Is it okay if he comes over and we get in the pool? Right? Like imagine that. You're probably gonna say yes, right? Her clients probably said yes to her. But you ask. You don't surprise people just like you don't want to open up your Ring doorbell app and see like who are these people walking in my house, right? Same courtesy, the same courtesy. Michael Phelps' uncle allowed me to use their Porsches? What in the world? Where was this? Where did they live? Rhonda says, I've met some of the kindest people. Good news is that right now, house sitting is not mainstream. House sitting is still a very niche, specific thing, and only a few people know about it. And those people tend to be better people, right? We don't have everyday people bring in house sitting clients in their home. They tend to be nicer people who are into reciprocity, right? There'll be a day when house sitting is mainstream and there'll be jerks. The clients will also be jerks. Right now, house sitting clients tend to be good people who are looking at a way that they can give and receive, right? A way that they can give someone a nice experience in a new city and receive the care for their pet and like somebody in the house is not looking empty, right? So they're they tend to be better people, right? They tend to be better people than just an average person. especially of the American house sits I've done, right? The ones that have the house sits I've done in the US, these are not average American people. They tend to be kinder, warmer, friendlier than the average American. I'm going to say white American people, right? That's what I'm going to say. All right, so house sitting has helped me say no to traditional jobs. House sitting has helped me see the world and be a nomad for 8 years, right? It's been 9 years or more total, but 8 years house sitting. And maybe back, that may be, yeah, I'm going up on 9 years total, 8 years house sitting. Yep. House sitting has helped me do more luxury travel or do my first luxury travel. I've spent a whole lot of money on some of my recent travel. And it's part of, in part, because I know I have months out of the year where I don't pay for a place to stay and I can bank that money, right? Stack it up, and go to Fiji, right? Let me stack up what I would spend on accommodation. Last summer, I house sat in Palm Springs, and then I came to Costa Rica and house sat in Costa Rica for I think 6 weeks. So that is 4 or 5 months last just out of 2023, 4 or 5 months where I didn't have to pay for any place to stay, at least, right? Stack up that money because Fiji is coming, right? I'm going to Fiji for my birthday. House sitting has helped me take advantage of more luxury travel by giving me extra money, right? By helping me hold on to some money that I would have normally spent on a place to stay. And also by like just being able to pick luxury houses to house sit in, right? Just being able to house sit in luxury houses. That's luxury travel, right? A house with a housekeeper and a pool cleaner. A house with a well, I want to save some of this, or maybe we'll skip that next. Maybe we'll do that next. So luxury travel because of the money, but let's skip to it. House sitting has introduced me to small pleasures that add up in life. Staying in other people's homes has really introduced me to a new way of doing some things. That house sit in Tampa had a central vacuum system. You sweep the dirt in the kitchen. You sweep the floor. I didn't do it, the housekeeper did it. In the kitchen, when you sweep the floor, there's a place in the floorboard that sucks up the dirt. Ain't no dustpans in this house. We don't we don't need a dustpan to sweep the kitchen. We don't bend over. You don't bend over to sweep their kitchen. You sweep the dirt into a pile, you get it over to that spot in the floorboard, turn it on, and it sucks up the dirt. They had a central vac. They probably had more spots in the house, but I saw her use that spot. I'd heard of central vac, but I don't think I knew what it was. Just like the tulip farm. I don't think I understood that. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know if I'll ever have a house with a central vac, but I will never forget that experience. And if that becomes a possibility for me, I'm taking it, right? I'm using that experience to think about what is the next thing for me. I house sat in a house in Brighton in the UK, down on the beach, and they had we don't bend over in this house to sweep the floor. We're not bending over. I was like, oh, the housekeepers didn't speak English. They were like, I don't know. They spoke Spanish. White. They were white Hispanic women. And I watched her most of the time when the housekeeper was in that house in Tampa. I stayed in the office with the dogs. One of the dogs, the housekeeper was afraid of one of the dogs. And they had four dogs, right? So I kept them in the office and in the backyard while they were there. But I go into the kitchen to get coffee or water or something. And I see her turn on the central vac. And I was forever changed. People out here living like this and not telling other people, right? They're out here living like this and not letting the world know that this exists. Um, the house sit in Brighton in the UK, she had sparkling water from the tap. She had the main kitchen sink faucet, And then she had a tap right here. I thought I knew what it was because I've been in places where you have boiling water from the tap. I've been in places where there's boiling water in the little tiny tap thing, the little tiny thing. So I thought it was boiling water. She says to me, and this right here, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. She's like, this right here is sparkling water. And I was like, wait a minute, sparkling water from the tap. Okay, girl. Okay. At that point, I never drank sparkling water because it tasted, salty. The fizzy part is just too much for water. Who needs it? But from that day forward, I have been a sparkling water girly. I think I probably drank a gallon of sparkling water every day in her house. And there's no turning back. Even to this day, if I go to a restaurant and the waiter's like, "Do you want still water or sparkling water?" Sparkle, sparkle. Okay, sparkle me. Sparkling water. She introduced me to sparkling water from the tap, and my life has changed. Right? Rashida and Katrina and Francis and my mom and Rashida's mom and I stayed in a beautiful home in Cape Town, which was not a house sit, but I want to tell you this. We stayed in a beautiful home in Cape Town, which had the best cappuccino maker. I've stayed in places with coffee makers of all types, but something about this lady's cappuccino maker made the best cappuccino. First of all, it had a separate milk frother, right? You put the milk in, you had to pour the milk in every time. But something about it, I will not give up until I have that exact coffee maker in my house. No, I don't have a house. Okay, but there will be a time, right? I'm like, it's nice when house sitting or staying in people's houses introduces you to things that you can implement in your own life. So maybe I can't implement the central vac in my own life, but I can implement like sparkling water throughout my day just for a little hint of pleasure, right? Just for a little hint of something nice. Um, Good coffee, right? Because when I buy my own coffee at the grocery store, up until about a couple months ago, I would have bought instant coffee. But staying in house sits introduced me to like real coffee. Like, drink real coffee. You're in Costa Rica, Stephanie. You need to drink real coffee. Go buy some coffee beans. Ground them coffee beans in this Airbnb, right? He's got the coffee beans. He's got the coffee grinder. The grind the beans, make the coffee, make a real good cup of coffee. A small pleasure that I can do. I used to put the vanilla extract in instant coffee and enjoy it. Now I put the vanilla extract in real coffee and I triple enjoy it, right? That's my dream, okay? That Katrina, she's here. We were like, how many how many cups of cappuccino is it safe to drink in a day? what when should we be cut off? That cappuccino, I have not stopped thinking about it, right? And I looked for it. I looked for it in someplace in California. Why did I go in the store in California? I went in somewhere, and I was like, let me see if they have that one. I'm gonna find it. Even if I gotta ship that thing down here, I'm finding it. Right? I was drinking Leslin. I promise you, I just made the switch to real coffee a couple months ago. I decided as a 50-year-old person. I'm 50 now, in case you haven't heard. I decided as a 50-year-old person I needed to drink real coffee because I put half and half or heavy cream and sugar and vanilla extract and sometimes cinnamon in my coffee. The taste of the coffee has not mattered to me all that much, right? The taste of the actual coffee, because I'm flavoring the hell out of that coffee. But lately, I've decided to be an adult. That is one adult thing that I have made the transition to. You'd be so proud. I don't remember the last time I bought instant coffee. I don't remember. Right? Even the last time I was in Delaware, I didn't drink instant coffee, mostly because we didn't have it. Yeah, I have made the switch. I've flipped the switch. Okay, y'all would be so proud. Sisters Who Sit is a Facebook group. Go to Facebook and type in Sisters Who Sit. It might be SISTAS. Yeah, right. Small pleasures. Or anything else that I've seen people do. So the orchid lady, so the lady in Tampa who had orchids, beautiful orchids in her home, they all died. She had three or four on a mantle, and they died. Every day I would go in, and there'd be another thing on the floor, another petal or whatever on the floor. And so I talked to her about it, and she said, "Girl, you know what I do? I throw them away, and then I go to the grocery store and I buy some more." And so since then, if I go to a store to buy a plant, I buy plants when I'm house sitting or when I'm in an Airbnb. I buy my own plants. So since then, I've added orchids into the rotation. Before that, I would shy away from orchids because they're going to die. I'm going to kill them. But now, if she says it's okay to let it die and buy another one, it's okay to let it die and buy another one. So I've also been able to add orchids into my life in a way that I couldn't before because I can't keep them alive. So, small pleasures. House sitting has helped me institute small pleasures into my everyday life just by seeing them in other people's lives. I'm a Me Too girl. I'm Miss Me Too. You do it? Oh, me too, right? I like it. If you like it, I love it. I wish I had a, I'm sure there's more of a list. I'm sure there's more of a list of things that I've seen in people experienced in people's homes that I've started doing for myself. Um, but those are the things I can think of right away. More will come. More will come. Okay, and then so now we're on number five. I moved number eight to number four. So now let's go to number five. House sitting gave me a platform. House sitting gave me a way to and community. These are two different things, but they're also the same. I made them two different numbers on the list, but they're the same. House sitting gave me a platform and a community. It gave me a thing to talk to you guys about. My channel didn't exist when I started house sitting. And when I started this channel, I didn't know people would be interested in hearing about house sitting. But house sitting gave me, yeah, a thing to talk about on my platform. It gave me the platform, gave me something to talk about on the platform, and gave me ways to create community. Um, so I'm always going to be grateful for that. This YouTube channel wouldn't, it might exist if I hadn't done house sitting, but it wouldn't be what it is because house sitting was the first thing that my first subscribers connected to. The sabbatical and the career break thing was like, whatever. In the beginning, it was like, nice, good for you. But once I started talking about house sitting, that's when things started to connect. People started to have questions, right, and stuff. House sitting gave me community and it helped my platform grow. So I'm always going to appreciate that. TJ says, houseplant care is my specialty. I hope I get to get some house sits where I can take care of plants. I've done them. So when I say most house sits are pet sits, that doesn't mean that the ones that are not pet sits, that are just plant sits, don't exist. They exist. They just go really quickly. Somebody is going to snap them up like that. You have to be on the ball. You have to have alerts set and be ready to apply right away to get the house sits that are plant sits. Frankly, a cat will tell you when it's hungry, right? Or when something's wrong. A plant will not. I am a good plant person. I've had my own plants. I've lived in my own house before. I've not always been a nomad, right? I am good with plants. I'm good with plants. But frankly, if somebody's bringing me into plant sit, I would feel too much pressure. This is me talking, not you talking, right? This is me. I'm not telling y'all to do things that way, but I'm saying for me, one lady in Austin, the house sit in Austin, Texas, she was like, there's a chance that there's going to be frost. And if there's a frost alert, you got to come outside. And they had an actual garden. Come out and can put this protectant sheet over these particular plants and whatever. I did it. But listen, I'd rather take a dog for a walk than go outside at night and cover up some plants. Right? I'd rather walk a dog than cover up plants. That's me, right? Elise says orchids will bloom again. It takes a while. I think what she actually told me was that she gave them. The housekeeper would take them. I think that's what she told me. When they die, the housekeeper will take them. I'll go buy more. Gay says she bought a Roomba after using one at a house sit, right? You just see things. You're like, oh, that is easier. Or that is nicer. That is better. Let me switch. Let me start doing that. We just get used to what we're used to. We get used to our own stuff, our own routine, our own habits. And it's really nice to be forced out of that routine sometimes and just see the way somebody else lives. Some stuff is worse, right? Some stuff is worse, but some stuff is really better, nicer, or even just different. Even sometimes different is better. So I appreciate house sitting for doing that for me. Okay, so house sitting gave me a platform, gave me community. I appreciate that forever and ever. House sitting gave me an opportunity to take, or gives me over and over again, opportunities to take breaks from the United States. While I'm still a person who is moving abroad, um, in the meantime, house sitting has given me the opportunity to be out of the United States as long as I want. And that's been wonderful. I don't know that there are really words that I can say to tell you how different it feels to be out of the US for weeks and months at a time. But the whole reason this channel exists and Exodus Summit exists is that I hope you'll try it. Okay? I don't know that I can really say in words what it feels like as a Black woman to leave the US for months at a time. How awesome, right? All I got is awesome, amazing, wonderful, fantastic, super califragilistic. I don't know that I can really explain it to you, but I hope that you experience it for yourself. And that's why I be on here talking this talk all the time. Okay? House sitting has been a reason that's possible for me, right? It's been great. I recommend it. That's reason number 7, I think. And then number 8, way that house not reason way eighth way house sitting has transformed my whole life is house sitting has emphasized like the reason that I'm doing the work that I'm doing, this Exodus Summit work, this vicarious work, because I get to be in y'all's homes, and I'm staying there while you're there, right? Sometimes I get there before my clients leave, sometimes, and sometimes I stay after they come back, and I see what women's lives are like in their homes. And y'all are doing too much. Too much. Women with male partners are doing 99% of the work. And it ain't no 50-50 in most homes, right? Ain't no 50-50. And even in the homes without male partners, I just see that y'all are stressed out. I'm in your homes. I know. I see, right? Y'all are stressed out, burnt out, exhausted. Exhausted and not sleeping. And so it reminds me why we do this, why this channel exists, why Exodus Summit exists. House sitting keeps reminding me over and over again what your life is like, right? I'm in your home, I see what your life is like, and it reminds me why it's so important for you to take a break, right? Why it's so important for you to quit that job. Why it's so important for you to go see the world if you want, or just move to another place if you want. So house sitting helps me remember why this work is so important. So I think those are the 8 ways house sitting has transformed my life. It's helped me say no to having a traditional job. It's helped me see the world and be a nomad. It's helped me embrace luxury travel and afford luxury travel. It's given me a platform and community. It's helped me um, take a break from the US. It's introduced me to small pleasures that add up. It's emphasized the reason for this channel. It's really number 8 because platform and community were 2, right? Those are ways that house sitting has transformed my life. You don't need to get into house sitting for it to transform your life. Really, I promise you. You can get into house sitting just because you want to go to Palm Springs for a week and not pay for a place to stay. Okay? That's fine, right? But if you are going to house sit long term, it will transform your life. And I appreciate what it's done for me so much. Let's see. Ask me some questions. Do you have any repeat? Hey, Jan Wig, do you have any repeat clients or any of them seeking you out? Yes. For quite a while, I had a May and December every month, for 2 or 3 years before COVID. For 2 or 3 years, I house sat for the same woman every month for the month of May, every year for the month of May and for the month of December. Put it on the calendar, right? I think I did it for 2 years straight. May, December, May, December. Um, and then I had another set of clients who were house sitters. So anytime they were going for a house sit and they could take their little dog Ruby, they would take her. But if they were going for a house sit and they couldn't take Ruby because the client wasn't into it, then I would go stay in their house and house sit for them and take care of Ruby while they went and house sat and took care of someone else, right? So yes, I've had repeat clients, and then a couple of like the Tampa client. Every now and then we text each other. Oh, I guess so. I've texted her a couple of times and been like, "Hey, I'm free for the summer. Let me know if y'all need a house sitter." I texted her this last summer, I think, and then she texted me once to see if I could house sit for them, and I wasn't available. But I don't think I think I must have referred somebody to her. I would have done that. I referred somebody to her, but I don't remember what happened with that. I never followed up, and I don't remember who it was. Was it you? I don't remember. Was it Janae? I don't remember who I referred her to, but yeah. So some of them I've kept in touch with, even though I've not house sat for them again. But yes, I have repeat clients. I have people who uh, reach back. Now my schedule is so funny that mostly it's mostly by the time they reach out to me, I'm not available. C. McCoy, hi. What's been your best and worst experience? I wonder about difficult people you don't think would be. I haven't had any surprise difficult people. I've had people who I could tell from the listing were going to be difficult people, and I have not applied for those house sits. One man I couldn't tell he was going to be difficult until we got on the phone call. For most of the times you apply for a house sit, they're going to want to get on a Zoom call or a FaceTime call or even just a regular phone call to talk before they actually book you. And when we got on the call, he was just so nitpicky that I finished the call and thanked him. And then I emailed him and was like, unfortunately, I'm no longer available for this sit. Good luck, right? Enjoy your travels. Um, I don't know that I've found too many surprise people because you talk to them, you chat with them a little. They have a listing, they have reviews, they already have reviews from other sitters. I'm thinking, and you don't engage with them all that much, right? You text them or send them a message to them once or twice a day, letting them know the pet's great and no problems and whatever. Their package came, right? You don't communicate with them all that much, especially if you leave before they come and or you leave right when they come. You don't engage with them all that much. But him, I knew he was going to be a pain in the butt. I was like, nope, not a chance. He's been so nitpicky about every little thing, and it's just a Zoom call, dude, right? He can't, no, he's not going to be texting me 20 times a day. Don't forget to do this. Don't forget to do that. Don't forget, like, I'm an adult. Leave me alone. I just, after the call ended, I probably waited a couple hours and then it was like, unfortunately, I'm no longer available. He hadn't requested me yet, so I didn't have to decline, which I still would have done. I still would have declined, but I didn't have to decline because he was still interviewing people. So it was easy. Easy out. I can't think of any surprise people. I have had one surprise pet, right? One dog that got aggressive with me. He was medium sized. He wasn't a big, strong, he wasn't a super strong dog. He was just a medium sized dog. He got aggressive with me when I was trying to take his collar off. He wore one of those prong collars that for dogs that pull. There's dogs that when you walk them, they just pull the whole time. And she was, instead of really training him, she just bought one of those prong collars. And I couldn't get it off. The first time I took it on and off, no problem. The second time I couldn't get it off. You squeeze and release. It's one of those squeeze and release things. And I just couldn't get it off, and he got sick of me. So he just got in my face, barked at me, and I went up against the wall, right? And then I was like, "You're not the boss of me." So I got him in check, got him down on the ground, put him in his cage, in his kennel. He slept in a kennel. Put him in his kennel at night, put him in his kennel, closed him in there. And I told her, I was like, he came at me. And I guess she was a surprise too. He was surprised and she was surprised. And she said to me, yeah, his last sitter called animal control on him. when he did that. I'm like, she was wrong, but also I was wrong, and I learned a really important lesson. She was wrong. That is not a dog to bring a house sitter in. If your house sitter has to call animal control on your dog because he's scaring her so much, your dog needs professional training and he needs to be boarded with someone who does that, right? Who takes care of those kind of animals, right? Also, I was wrong because she didn't have any reviews. She had had three house sitters before. You could see it. It'll say so and so house sat on these dates, so and so house sat on these dates. She'd had three house sitters before. No one left a review because I think they were going by the adage if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And so they didn't leave a review. And so I didn't know the situation. I walked into it blind. And after that, I've probably only taken two house sits since then with no reviews. I don't do it anymore, right? One was that Tampa house sit that was amazing. It was on Davis Island. It was a mini mansion. It was beautiful, right? So no regrets. But for the most part, if you don't have reviews, I'm not taking that house sit. And you need to have detailed, thorough reviews, not like it was great, right? You need to be gushing about the pet, about the people, about the house, about the city before I apply for that house sit. So that was a surprise. And it was, yeah. And that was in part my fault, mostly her fault, okay? But in part my fault for taking a house sit without any reviews and without even asking her. I didn't even ask her, why haven't those three house sitters left you a review? What is it that they don't want to say? If I had just asked her that question, I would have known, right? But I didn't ask her. I didn't know. And then when it was time to do the laundry was a coin operated laundry. It just so many things. I should have asked some more questions. I'm just not a natural question asker. She lived in an apartment complex in Santa Monica, California, but they had a coin laundry. I don't think I ever knew that people would live in an apartment building where the laundry was not free. I know plenty of people have an apartment without a washer dryer in their apartment, right? And they go to if the complex has a washer dryer, I just assumed it would be free. So I was just by the time that house set ended, I was just over it. I was over it. I was like, I'm mad at the dog. I'm mad at her. I'm mad at the washing machine. I'm mad at all of it. Right. Queendom, this is good info. We must be careful and definitely check reviews. Read the reviews. I don't care what you're doing. Read the reviews. I don't care if it's a restaurant in a new city. Read the reviews. It's not happened since. I've not had it. Most people, if they're bringing in a house sitter, their pet is spoiled. Okay? This woman had not trained her pet. She adopted a dog that was out of her control, right? But most people who have a house sitter come into their home and stay in their home to take care of their pet while they're gone. That pet is spoiled. That pet is a baby, right? That pet wears coats when it's raining, okay? I've house sat for people. They're like, okay, so if you have to walk him when it rains, here's his raincoat, right? Here's his raincoat so he doesn't get wet in the rain, okay? He doesn't like to get wet in the rain. Here's his raincoat most of the time, right? So that's the answer. Most of the pets are very spoiled. I've had quite the man who I had talked to, and I decided not to house sit for him. His dog had a very particular diet, and so he cooked the dog's food. I'm not opposed to making the dog's food, but it's just the way that he talked about it. I didn't want to do it. I've cooked for cats, right? They every morning you soft scramble an egg and heat up a chicken liver for the cat. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. This, you right? Laura and Toby, they would stand at my feet while I soft scrambled an egg a piece and barely heated up a little chicken liver for them. They would just sit there and watch me. And then I put it in their dish and they go, right? Very well taken care of, very loved pets. Also, very trained. Yeah, she needed to train the dog. She was wrong. Okay? She was dead wrong. She's not indicative of the typical client I've come in contact with on Trusted House Sitters, right? But I learned my lesson, right? I don't do house sits for people without reviews, without glowing reviews, unless like I'm really willing to take a chance. That Tampa house sit, I was willing to roll the dice as soon as I saw those pictures. Listen, four dogs, 4 dogs that I walked in Tampa in the summertime, all summer long. I think that was a 6 or 8 week house sit, right? You know, I was committed to staying in that house. I wanted to stay in that house. That backyard was a resort, right? Their backyard looked like a resort. The kitchen alone was beautiful. I don't even cook. It was such a beautiful home to wake up in the morning and go make my little oatmeal and coffee and just bacon in. It was such a beautiful home. I was like, I'm rolling the dice on this house. But for the most part, you don't have amazing glowing reviews, right? Repeat, even when I see a house sitting client have a house sitter repeat for them, because you can see who sat for them. When I see somebody liked it enough to repeat, do it again, I'm applying. All right, that's a house sit I'm applying for, right? Yeah, that was a. I will. I don't. I don't. I can't imagine falling into that situation again because I'm not doing a house sit again for somebody with no reviews who I don't have any info on. Yeah, so Kat said I should have contacted trusted house sitters. I didn't think about that. Somebody mentioned that one time when I told this story, and I really didn't think about that. I did write the review that time. I was the fourth sitter and the first person to leave her review. I did write the review that time, but I didn't think to contact trusted house sitters. But I did think this is not a dog and a client who should be on trusted house sitters. But I don't think I mean, I know I didn't contact, I just didn't think to do that. I wish I had. I wish I had. Because that's not what Trusted House Sitters is about, right? But I know I won't find that situation again, right? Because, baby, you got to have glowing reviews. I'm telling you, you have to have glowing reviews for me to take your sit. I don't, the way my life's set up, right? I told you, I already have a pool requirement, right? You got to have a pool or a hot tub. You got to have glowing reviews. You have to have a pet that's gonna look cute in my pictures, right? I saw a house sitting not too long ago. It must have been while I was in California, stuck in California. A last minute house sit popped up right where I was. I was in Oakland, and the house was nice, but she had a hairless cat, and I'm like, no. I saw the house sit because I was deciding how long I was going to stay in Northern California. I couldn't fly out, right? I'm stuck. Let me go ahead and book a house sit. No, I'm not house sitting no hairless cat. How am I take pictures of a hairless cat, right? Right. I'm vain and I'm picked based on appearances, but still based on reviews. Rashni says her parents' apartment had a coin laundry. They okay. Their apartments have the coin laundry. I spent many a day emptying the coin containers. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know people were out here living like that. I mean, paying coins for laundry is not the worst thing, but it just really pissed me off when I saw it. I'm like, on top of all of this, now I got to pay. I was only in the house sit for, I don't even know if it was 48 hours. Seriously. I was there because I wanted to go to something that was happening in LA. And had been house sitting in Northern California. Something was happening in LA that I wanted to go to. So I picked up the house sit so I didn't have to pay for a hotel. And I was like, and I'll do my laundry while I'm there. Like, enter your quarters. Come on. Come on. Are you kidding me? I like to do laundry for people before I leave. I like to do their wash, at least put their sheets, the bed that I sleep in. I like to pull the sheets off and put it in the washer before I go. But no, I'm not. I'm not using my coins for that. I'm not using my coins to do all of that. No, indeed. CK says also most washrooms are coin operated in apartment complexes. I didn't know. I've been to some where they weren't, so I just didn't know. It really made me mad. I think I was madder at the washer than at the dog because the dog, after I calmed him down, he thought we were friends again, right? He thought we were friends. I'm sitting on the sofa. Here he come getting up on the sofa in my lap. I said, "No, you don't. Get on the floor. We're not friends, right?" But I was madder at the washing machine than at the dog. TJ says, my sister has a Yorkie. She makes her food. That's pretty common in the world now. Dog food, we've decided that the prepackaged dog food is not healthy at all. And so either people buy like there's the fresh pet types of pet foods where it's like real food. You can see it. It's real. It's carrots and potato and it's real food and you refrigerate it. But a lot of people just make food for the pet, right? They eat what they don't really eat what you eat, but they eat real food like you eat, right? Right? It's pretty normal, right? And on Trusted House Sitters, these are luxury pets. Some of these some of the cats and dogs on Trusted House Sitters are luxury cats and luxury dogs. And people, um, volume is too low. I have it set the same, so I'm sorry. I don't. There's nothing else I can do. The I just hit the thing. Let's see. Let's see if that helps. Yeah, they're luxury cats and dogs, and they're used to the good stuff. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them. Yeah, I've had quite a few house sits where you had to do something special with the food, whether even if it wasn't cook it from scratch, it might be heated up. Sometimes they meal prep for the pet, and you have to heat up this or add this. One dog would not eat his food until you put some salmon oil. Was it salmon oil? Fish oil. You had to pour fish oil over his dish, and he had to see you do it before he would eat his food. Right? He'd just look at you. Ain't no fish oil on here. Then I had to, I already did it. I already did it. And he'd be like, ain't no fish oil. So then I'd have to do it again. So he would see it before he would eat the food. That's the best I can do. It may be because of the internet thing. This is the best I can do. Yeah, this is the best I can do. The house has decent internet, but I'm upstairs where this internet is not the best. I think we're done. So I think we're almost done. Okay, what about safety? You're staying in people's homes, so it's like staying in somebody's home, right? If somebody stayed in your home, what safety precautions would they need to take? Same as going to stay in somebody else's home. Lock the door. That's it. That's it. Lock the door. That's it. It's a house. It's a house. Same safety precautions you take in a house. I'd be like, I don't want to take pictures of that dog. Listen, that's what I do for about 4 hours a day of house sitting. I am taking pictures of the dog so I can get like the best. It's hard to take pictures of pets, right? It's going to take you 4 hours to get a great photo. Just like, wow, that's great. Who wants to spend 4 hours taking pictures of an ugly dog? Your dog is look, I see your dog. Your dog is adorable, right? Okay, I'm gonna take pictures of your dog. We're gonna go out in the backyard. I'm gonna turn my phone to portrait mode. I'm gonna get the dog in motion, walking towards me, right? I'm not taking pictures. I'm not house sitting no ugly pets. Hairless cats look a lot like raw chicken. What if I accidentally cook it? I'm not doing that. Right? I know it's not just me. Who would want to do that? Right? We all have our own ideas of what we do and don't want, right? Do it. Do what you are into. If you like hairless cats, they're out there on Trusted House Sitters waiting for you. I'm sure there are sitters who love hairless cats. Sphinx? Are they called sphinxes? Or did I make that up? There are people who love it. Okay. Yeah, there are people who take such good care of their pets, and that's why they're bringing you in. So that's why I say you have to really like pets, one type of pet. You have to like either cats or dogs or chickens or something. Or I don't know, maybe not chickens. You have to like them because they want you to care for that pet. You're not just there to dump food in the bowl, right? They want the if the pet is into cuddling, they want you're going to cuddle that pet. If the pet sleeps with them, that pet is sleeping with you, right? So you can't just tolerate. If I was house sitting for a hairless cat, I would just tolerate the cat. But that's not what they want a house sitter to do. So I'll let somebody else do that house sit. Somebody else, right? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Some people behold those animals and see the most beautiful animal in the world. Let them have that house sit, right? I'll house sit for Truffles. I had to do Truffles' hair. I had to put a little hair in a ponytail every morning, right? I'll do that. You take the hairless cat, everybody wins, right? Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Ah, okay. Crystal said someone in Exodus Summit said the homeowner gave her a negative review for washing the sheets. Okay. Yeah, so I guess that is that. Okay, so don't do what I do. Ask first, right? Ask first. Yeah, that's just the thing I do. Throw them in the washing machine. Even if I don't get them in the dryer before I leave, at least throw them in the washer. One less thing they have to think about when they come back from their trip. But yeah, I would hate to get a negative review for doing something proactive, right? Something you think is helpful. It's always like that though. Doing something you didn't have to do, but you're doing it to be nice. That's always the thing that gets you. Dorset, how do you handle choosing a sit locations that do not meet your expectations? I've not had any house that didn't meet my expectations because I read the reviews. I look at the pictures. I talk on Zoom to them while they're in that house. So it's never been about the house, only that one time about the dog. I've never walked into a house that wasn't exactly what I thought, right? They've got pictures on the site, they've got reviews. I've never had that problem. I don't have that problem. You read the reviews, read the reviews. If the previous house sitter is not glowing about that house, I don't take it. Then I don't walk into a surprise, an ambush. I walk into houses that are as clean as they look in the photos because so did the previous house sitter. Let somebody else do the vetting, right? Let somebody else do the vetting. Read the reviews. Yeah, I don't walk into surprises like that because I don't take a house sit unless the previous house sitter said this is a great one. You know they do. You know that's what they look like. Yeah, Rhonda said I become a photographer. Yeah, it's really fun to take pictures of pets. I don't know. It's because it's hard. It's hard to get a good picture of a pet. They don't stay still. Some of them actually know what a camera is, and they avoid you on purpose. Right? As soon as they might be looking so adorable. As soon as you go like this, they move. They know what you're doing. Right? They're so obstinate. It's hard. I pride myself on my beautiful pet photography. That is something that every review of me says. It says I arrive, I'm reliable and whatever, whatever, but it also says, and she takes the best pictures. It always says that. Okay, see, here we go. There's something for everyone. The luxury bucket list says she wants to get a Sphinx. I would love to house sit one. They're out there, right? They're out there for you because I'm not doing them. Okay, they're out there. How do you ask about the neighborhood without being offensive? Usually, in the listing, they'll tell you the area, and then I look at it on Google Street View, Google Maps, and Google Street View. Um, they give you a lot of information about in the listing most of the time. If they're experienced, sometimes new clients don't know what to put on their listing, but usually experienced clients will know what to put. And then you can Google, they won't tell you their address, of course, but they will tell you their neighborhood and maybe like walking distance to this park or walking distance to this shopping center or 2 miles from this shopping center. You can kind of like triangulate where they live and check things out. So, but the real answer is you're going to do a call with them. Just ask them whatever questions you have, ask them. Is this a neighborhood where it's safe to walk at night? Whatever your questions are, ask them, right? Sometimes you can just tell by the house, right? That house in Tampa, there's no question that it's in a safe neighborhood because who's going to build that kind of, I guess, who's going to build that kind of house in a neighborhood that's not safe? But yeah, ask your questions. These are people. They're human people. They're human people. If you have questions, you ask them the questions. Janice, how do I handle my passport pages filling up? I surprisingly don't fly from place to place all that often. I get someplace and I stay there for months and months. I've never had a passport fill up. I lost. Did I lose my passport? What? Oh no, my passport expired when I was in the UK on that house sit, and I got it renewed in the UK at the US consulate. But I've never had a passport. I've never had that problem because even though it seems like I go to a lot of places, I don't go to as that many places that my passport would fill up. I go someplace and I stay there. I go to Mexico and I house sit in Mexico for 6 months, even though it's 8 house sits or 12 house sits. It's one passport. Sometimes they don't even stamp your passport. I don't want to talk about that. Sometimes you go places they don't even stamp your passport. So I've not had that problem. I have had to renew my passport while I was abroad, but I've never had a moment where I'm like nervous about is my passport going to make it? Because I stay in one place for a long period of time. I move very slowly. Slow travel is what they call it. I move more slowly than you think, right? Very, very slow. All right. Okay, friends. All right. So that's what house sitting has done for me. I hope you give it a chance to do that for you if you're interested. If you're not interested, don't do it. Okay? If you don't want to take care of somebody's cats or their dogs or their chickens or their fish or their plants, don't do it. Okay? But if you're really interested in this conversation, go ahead and get started. August is last minute summer travel sit time. Lots of last minute house sits are popping up on Trusted House Sitters just for these next 2 or 3 weeks. And then we're coming up on Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is the beginning of the winter season for house sitting. Thanksgiving through Martin Luther King Day, you can be wherever you want and get a house sit wherever you want. The world is back to traveling again. But even in the meantime, September, October, November, in the meantime, you'll find beautiful house sits if you put effort into it, right? House sitting is not where you can just buy the membership and you're booked. You have to look for house sits, set alerts, apply for house sits, right? Apply for house sits and you will be able to get these same transformations in your life that I've gotten from house sitting. I love it. I love it. Where am I going next? This is Kat, who is Rebloom Room. Kat does nap with me sessions. If you want to carve out some nap time in your life, subscribe to Kat's YouTube channel, Rebloom Room, among other things. That's a thing that she does on her channel. Okay, where am I going next? I'm here in Costa Rica probably until November. No, no, I'm going to Ecuador. We already talked about Ecuador. I forgot already. I already booked it. Don't worry, I'm booked. I booked my flight and my hotel already, which is not like me. I'm going to Ecuador for Labor Day weekend. We talked about that. There's a meetup for Exodus Summit. If you're in the Exodus Summit community, hit maybe if you think you're coming. Don't hit yes until you book. I know some of y'all hit yes and you haven't booked yet, okay? We need a good count of how many people are coming so we can get a restaurant, okay? Ecuador Labor Day weekend. Um, and then November, the month of November, I believe, I'll be in Las Vegas. I'm speaking at a conference the middle of November. So I think I'm just going to stay in Las Vegas. And then December, Barbados. Yeah, that's where to next. That's the travel I have planned right now. Here in Costa Rica to through until the beginning of November with a quick trip to Ecuador for Labor Day weekend. And then November in Las Vegas and first early December in Barbados. I haven't booked my Barbados hotel. I'm still torn between a hotel and an Airbnb. I might wait. Just wait. The longer I wait, the more likely it'll be a hotel instead of an Airbnb, because the good Airbnbs are going to book up for December in Barbados. Yeah, early December, Barbados, and then back to Costa Rica. January, I've applied to speak at a conference in Anaheim, California again in January. So there's a chance I'll be in Southern California again in January. If I go, I'll stick around for a while because I like that area. You know, I love me some Palm Springs. So if I go to Southern California in January, I probably will be there for January. But November in Las Vegas, so Desiree says, yay. Okay, November in Las Vegas, I'm going to be there for the conference is only 4 or 5 days, and I'll probably be there for, I probably will get there around the 8th or 9th, and I'm going to stay to the 30th. And the conference is only 4 or 5 days, so I'll probably do some coaching while I'm there. Like, remember when I was in Puerto Rico, I did the workshop and I invited people who joined the workshop to come to Puerto Rico and do the workshop in person. I'll probably do that again in November, but I don't have it planned out yet. Um, but November, I plan to sit in Las Vegas November. Yeah. So if you're going to be around, I'll be there. I'll be there. 8th to 30th, I think. Is Las Vegas fun? Las Vegas is its own thing. I I like it because it's like an amusement park for grown-ups. I like it. Not that regular amusement parks aren't for grown-ups, but I like it. But a lot of people don't like it. Rashida is who I mean. She doesn't like it. Yeah, like I like to gamble. I like gambling. I like craps. It's been years since I played craps, but I like to play craps and shop. And you can do all of that in Las Vegas. You can get rich and go broke in at one time. You can see shows. What I meant to do is look up who's there. You can see shows. I like it. It's like an amusement park for grown-ups. It's like, that. Yeah. So anyway, that's I like it. And then I've never been to the rocky part of Nevada, like go out. I would like to go out and do some hiking. Well, actually, I'm going to be so that by the time I get there, it'll be a month before the half marathon. So I'm going to have to find some places to run. But I would like to go out and do some like nature stuff in Nevada. Yeah, I think it would. I think I like it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like you can go from the hotels are themed. It's like an amusement park for grown-ups. Every hotel has its own little theme, and Marlon Wayans might walk up to your table. One time, Pam and I went to Las Vegas from when I was stationed in the Army. I used to go. I went to Vegas probably 4 or 5 times while I was in the Army. One time, Pam and I went. Marlon Wayans came to our table, messed up the whole table. We were raking in the cash on the craps table. Here he comes, messed up the whole vibe. We took our money and left. Right? It's just it's like you know fun times. I think it's fun times. Yeah, November it won't be piping hot. I've been there in the summer. I've been there all different times of year, and November it won't be piping hot. Yeah, so this time I hopefully I'll go out and do some stuff. Go out and see other non Las Vegas stuff. Red Rock. Jet Set with B says Red Rock and Mount Charleston for hiking. So I'll need to be running. So I'll need to find places to run, but hopefully I'll also go out and do some hiking or do some looking at hiking. Yeah. Yeah, Kat says lots of amazing nature within reach. Yeah. I like Las Vegas. I'm not anti Las Vegas. I like it. I don't it's not like I think yeah, I like it. I think it has a variety of things to offer even though I've only taken part of one thing. I've only been there for the gambling. Gambling and back in those days partying, going to the clubs and stuff. But as a grown up, I think, who doesn't want to go to the craps table and see if they can get rich? That's entertaining to me, right? Let's see if I can parlay this into big bucks. It's fun. I like it. Okay. Yeah, I think I've been around October, November time. I've been May and June. Not smart. No, yeah, November it'll be much better. It'll be a much better time to be there. Okay. Mariah's in Las Vegas. Oh, you saw Mariah in Las Vegas. Yeah. All kind of entertainment is there. Even back in the day, there was good shows there. One time we stayed at Circus Circus. One time we stayed at the Circus Circus, and they just had like acrobats just out in the hotel, just like it was really weird. It was really weird. There's just stuff happening. And then the pirate, what is that, Treasure Island? They always did that little pirate show in the front, right? As a person who doesn't like to actively do things, Las Vegas is a place where you can go and be entertained without like doing stuff. I enjoy it. So that's those are my travel plans through December and probably through January. I think hopefully I'll get booked to speak at the conference in Southern California in January, so that'll mean that'll that'll be that. Okay, thanks for hanging in there. Okay, friends, thank you very much for being here and chatting with us. I hope that if this conversation about house sitting interested you at all, you'll go ahead and give it a try. I have a new house sitter toolkit. I've linked to that in the description of this video. Go ahead and download my new house sitter toolkit so that you can get information from me about house sitting. It includes my affiliate link to Trusted House Sitters, of course. It also includes some other things that I use to be comfortable while house sitting. So go ahead and, if you're interested, download my new house sitter toolkit, and then um, them's the breaks, girl. That's the risk you pay. That's the price you pay to try to get rich. um, Go ahead and download my new house sitter toolkit, and um, I'll email you information about getting started with house sitting. Okay? If you are house sitting, keep me posted. Let me know. All right? Have a wonderful time. Weekend, I mean, have a wonderful weekend. I got to take a nap. YouTube challenge was this week, so I'm tired. I got to take a nap. I'm going to eat some breakfast and take a nap. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you very much for joining me. And I'll see you guys again around. Next week, we'll probably get back to having guests and interviews and stuff on the channel. So I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted on who's coming next weekend. Okay. Have a wonderful day. Bye.